group discussion and interview training, and preparing students for various competitive examinations. And I picked up that role because this required setting up a particular vertical which trained students on a regular basis to fare well in the group discussions and interviews. I have my points of view both as an industry person and also as a citizen of the country who has grown in the times of liberalization. And the fruits of liberalization is something which I have seen happening to the country. And now, after 2 decades of liberalization, I also start seeing the flip sides of liberalization coming in. Whatever the colleagues have shared over here, I agree with all of them on each and every aspect that they have shared. So I would not delve into that deeper, but I would focus my points of view again, both as an industry individual and a citizen of the country. Coming to the industry, and I would like to talk about Airtel as an organization and the telecom industry, which is one of the sunshine industries of the day. I would like to spend some time on how do we function as an organization. So we work on the outsourced model of business, and Airtel can pride itself to be a company which brought that model to the telecom industry. As a result of that, while we may be 12 to 14,000 strong employee base, but the fact that we work with partners and these partner organizations are big ones who do a lot of work for Airtel, we might actually be landing up employing close to about 1.5 to 2 lakh people. And as a result of that, our impact on the job market as an organization is huge. At the same time, the partners, whatever they do, the way they do, the talent that they employ has a huge impact on our deliverables to the customer and our success as a corporate enterprise. There are many dimensions to this problem, but I think the big one that I see is around learning agility. And I'll try and spend some time on what we mean by learning agility and why is it so important and why do we feel so much impacted by this particular skill or virtue, whatever you call it. So I'm with functional skills development, and what does functional skills development mean in Airtel? It is not about sales, frontline sales or customer service skills. No, it's not. Because these two trainings or these two skills development in our case lie with the function. So the sales and distribution vertical has a sales training vertical, and there is a sales training head, and he or she takes care of that, and same with the CSD. What I do is finance capability for finance, marketing capability for marketing, HR capability for HR, supply chain capability for supply chain, finance for non-finance, networks for non-networks, and so on and so forth. And the reason why this vertical was even established 4 years back in Airtel was the fact that telecom industry is transforming by the day. And we work with partners who are best in their domain. Now, if an organization which is transforming, the business domain is transforming, and our people are working with the best in their areas, then we need to be with the times, and sometimes maybe a little ahead of the times, so that we can create the best and we can leverage the best from the partners. And that's where the learning agility comes into play. So for simple example, telecom is no longer about voice. It is transforming into data. It's all about data. And the way the skills which are required to do a voice business are maybe 180 degree to that of the data business. Now, it would only be a utopian idea if I were to say, let me take out this entire employee population, which is voice skill, and feed in an employee population, which is all data skill. It's not possible. So we have to reskill and we have to multi-skill our existing population from thinking voice to thinking data, to doing voice to doing data. And that requires a completely different skill set. And that's where learning agility comes into play. Secondly, as a part of the organization talent management, our talent philosophy is to rotate talent across all functions. And sometimes we also joke that in Airtel, we strongly believe that other than networks, everybody can do everything and every role. Now, if I were to move a marketing person as a part of his growth journey to, let's say become a CEO someday of a circle, a marketing person has to work in customer service. Or he might have to spend some time, let's say a couple of years in supply chain, maybe even do an HR role, so that he is a holistic leader. And while I might have taken that marketing person from the best of the B school and he would have specialized in marketing, today I want him to develop customer service delivery skills. And he needs to have learning agility over there. Incidentally, that is one agility we find a rare agility. Change for all human beings is not a very comfortable process, we all know that. But at the same time, how open are you to exploring newer dimensions, exploring newer skills? Are you willing to give your 100% to pick up a new skill? How do you view yourself as a professional? Do you view yourself as a professional who is working for a professional enterprise, and whatever needs to be done in order to keep oneself employable, are you willing to learn that? Or are you viewing yourself in silos that I'm an HR guy, I did my specialization in HR, that's what I can do and nothing beyond that. And then the era of super specialization is anyways there. So it's not just HR, well, I'm a talent acquisition person, I'm a compensation and benefits person. And it goes further bad, okay, I'm a global compensation and benefit person. So global means I can't think local, I'll think only global. Okay, it almost sounds like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that I can either determine the position or the velocity, but not both, right? So the question is about learning agility, and I think it's the academia, I think, has a challenge at its hand to develop people who have learning agility. So I think this entire talk about this dynamic curriculum which is happening is also because learning agility is a critical area of skill or virtue which is required, and which would be required much more. So today it's required by IT and telecom. I think tomorrow it will be required by almost every industry, because the rate of change has transformed. That's one part. Thinking about it as a citizen of the country, I feel whatever output the industry or the job market is receiving is actually an output of a process which is happening in an educational institution. And I don't want to single out educational institutions only from the professional or the post-graduation point of view. I'm talking about this entire system which gets something as an input at the age of 3.5 and takes out an output at the age of 23. So 20 years of processing, what are we talking about? And I believe that when we became independent and we put up an education system in place, for whatever reason, we took the British system, and that served us in decent stead till we liberalized, because it helped us create bureaucrats, it helped us create clerks, it helped us create some professionals, the Hindu rate of growth which the country was having at that time, that particular supply was good enough. Because at that time still the country was a major agrarian economy, and then there was a big population who would want to do business. Okay, so that helped. Come 91, and the IT industry also happened around the same time. There was suddenly a growth explosion in the entire world, and as a result of that, because of certain virtues that we inherited, our language, English, and our ability on mathematics helped us as a country become a powerhouse of talent globally. All this while, these 20 years, we have been reaping those benefits only. The government hasn't done anything on its part to leverage that power and transform it to make it liable for another 20 years. It hasn't done anything. And I don't think, I don't have visibility, but from whatever is the output, I don't think the academic world also has done anything in terms of thinking or in terms of implementation to create talent or a system which can churn out talent for the next 20 years. And as it stands today, I profess that we are standing at a cusp. And it can actually be a make or break for the India growth story. Not because of economic reasons, but surely because of talent reasons. And I feel what is required is a fundamental thought on what is our point of view on education. What is our education system meant to be? Is it to create jobs? Or is it to create skilled people? Or is it to expand knowledge and research? Or is it to create doers or producers? What? Or maybe all of them. I remember in 2004, and this is the last example that I would say and rest my case. 2004, I read an article on Rediff.com, and it said, and it was a very positive and powerful tone in it, which said that by 2020, China would be the factory to the world, and India would be the back office to the world. It was celebrating, and it was celebratory in the tone. I was actually feeling scared. And I thought that if this were to come true, it would be a very sad story. And sad story because, not because we would be the back office and there is anything wrong with being a back office, absolutely not. But it would be a fundamental opportunity lost. Because we as a country are capable of much more. What about research? What about great academicians? We are not thinking about that. We, as an education system, are picking up flavors of the 5 years and creating courses around that. So if the flavor is retail, we take pride in creating a retail course, and like my friend said, you might actually not have anything over there. You might not have a single person or a professor skilled in teaching retail, but on the brochure we would take pride in the fact we have a retail course. And parents would also start sending kids, in herds to the retail course and take pride in saying, "Mera bacha MBA in retail kar raha hai." 5 years back it would have been Jet King, so everybody would say, "Wo Jet King jata hai." And I'm taking names because they are household names. Nothing wrong with the institutions as such or the courses as such. But what is it that we want to do? We are ourselves not sure. And I think it is through these conversations we need to arrive at that point of view. That what is our education system meant to be? What is it going to deliver? And then create benchmarks of quality. So to summarize, 2 things. One is the learning agility. And the other is creation of a point of view on what our education system is meant to deliver. That's it.
Okay, this is my turn now.
Yeah.
A lot of things have been said already.
Yes.
So my name is Ashish Garg. I look after recruitment for Convergys, and Convergys is primarily a customer management organization. So though we are like another customer service organization, call center, but we recruit or we actually service healthcare, financial services, telecommunication, IT. Almost like the intake would be maybe like 3 to 4,000 new hires every year across these stuff, like 3,000 in IT, 3,000 in financial services, 3,000 in telecommunication and such. So, I mean, every year we also recruit like 12,000 to 3,000 new hires. And when I say new hires, those are like entry-level jobs. Beyond that, we hire specialists who are like lateral hires. So, and I've been, participating in these forums for last, I think, 12 years or so. When I started with NASCOM, and with NASCOM, Viom was there. So we started with, with creation of this industry, academia, connects, platforms where we actually exchange the stuff. Corporates start adopting some of the colleges and all that stuff. So over a period of time, what I've seen, and I'm not just going to repeat. I think a lot of things which I want to say has already been said by Nitin, Ashu, and all other friends here. But one thing what I see is or what I experience is the basic disconnect between the aspirations of a student vis-a-vis when he actually is getting admitted versus when he's actually getting employed. That aspirational mismatch is somehow, leads to when we say it's the employability gap or the skill gap or the talent dearth. But ultimately, what I see is, and this is again, a story of last 15 years or so. I mean, my experience is limited to that scope only. I have seen, I go to campus. I mean, every year, I go to almost like 100, 200 colleges, engineering, ITIs, management. And interestingly, even for when I recruit for IT, I see that there are like 200 students waiting for the placement first round. 60 are from the computer science, 60 are from mechanical, 60 are from electrical. So ultimately, even for the IT job, everybody from mechanical, everybody from electrical, everybody from civil is standing there because they are, if we made them eligible to apply, they are eligible and they want to get into that stuff. From an admission perspective, they really joined mechanical. But today, because they are actually eligible to apply for a job in an IT industry, they are the first one to stand in the queue. I mean, correct me. I mean, the people from there. Similarly, let's talk about a financial services organization. I go to again. I'm not naming some colleges, but I go to a top 10, then next 10, the next 10 colleges, and we are really going to recruit for a very specific, say a job in say program management, or say a job in a journal management type stuff. Again, like here we got to know that, and Ashish picked it up very well, that 95% of people are actually sales and marketing. 2 or 3% are from HR, or maybe now the new things have come up, like IT is again become a management, even operations management has become like a management program. So what I see is the disconnect between the aspirations when we actually induct them and versus when we actually make them ready for a job. Industry is challenged. I'm challenged. I don't get people for healthcare. Like you said. I mean there are institutes for healthcare, but on those particular institutes there are government restrictions. Right? So where do we go and get? So we don't get healthcare students ready. We go and get healthcare students from some different educational streams. Invest like 3 months to 6 months or say 1 year in training them, upskilling them in across the functions, and then actually make them job ready. And then what happens? Then after a certain period of time, the student or the new hire, they get disengaged. They say that, what, I spent like 4 years studying computers, but I'm doing some type of business gathering. So it is not my skill. I'm getting a job somewhere else which is like more in line with my stuff. So what will we do? We say that okay, from next year onwards, we will try to reduce the intake from that particular stream altogether. And just one more point, I think, I don't want to repeat whatever has been said. Why it is happening, and we discussed this several times, why it is happening, because you also picked it up about the infrastructure and the college ability. I think their focus is purely on filling their seats, to be very honest with you. I really question the selection process, the admission criteria for those colleges, for those particular programs that they are actually getting admitted for. I see a huge disconnect there. People in computer science are getting admitted like left, right, center. People in, when I say computer science, let's talk about engineering itself, getting recruited left, right, center. We do not have that much of demand in the computer science industry. We do not have that much of demand in the electrical side of the industry. You see what type of demand we have from the power sector. Are we producing those many of power engineers with power specialization? No, we are not. Even the 50% of the people who are doing mechanical or electrical, they are actually doing some course in IT parallel, and their ultimate aspiration is to get into IT. Similarly, people who are doing sales and marketing, their ultimate aspiration is to get into financial services. So I see basic disconnect there. The third point, which may be like a very sensitive topic, I think we also need to talk about, and that's somewhere we talk about, what type of people we have to train or to educate them while they're in the education, or while they're in their institute. And this is a very big question. I'm sorry, sir, it's not specific to a couple of people around, but in my experience, I really want to question that 80% of colleges, the educational institutes in the country, what is their criteria of filling their teaching jobs or getting teachers to train future talent for the country. If I'm not wrong, or probably my numbers may be a little high, at least 30 to 40% of the people in the teaching jobs are the ones who are not getting inducted by the corporate when they graduated from the same college. This is truth.
Yes.
Right? And at the same time, interesting topic, are we really engaging industry experts? Are we really bringing industry experts back to the, for example, like you are taking some classes in management institutes for human resource management. For last 6 or 7 years, what I've started doing is, I'm actually taking like a 3 days, 4 days workshop, which is nothing to talk about HR, nothing to talk about C&B, nothing to talk about OV. Though I come from that background, I actually teach them brand new. I actually teach them, what do you want from life? What have you come here? Why have you come here, rather? What do you want to do? So, my experience of 3 to 4 years, because my schedule doesn't allow that, so I have become very choosy. And my objective or my selection criteria has become like, that okay, I will not take students from the 3rd year or the 4th year of engineering. I will not take students from the 3rd semester or the 4th semester of management. Why? Because anybody who's talking to them, even for some type of development, their only objective sitting in that room is whether this person can give me a job or not. Okay, Ashish Garg has come to the campus. Okay, everybody wants to sit in that room. Why? Because they just want to see him as a career or as a prospective employer. That's my basic listener. I think we need to actually work.
Or maybe what Ashish Garg is teaching me today, will it help me crack the campus?
That is one, but that would become like a tertiary or the secondary thing. The ultimate objective is that, okay, whatever I'm going through, whatever course I'm going through, whatever vocational programs, whatever education, or say, I would say some extended training programs that my institutes or my academy is setting up, how that is going to help me to get a job. I have experienced it. I've experienced it in almost like 200 to 300 engineering colleges, maybe like 100 management colleges in India. You talk about, Asian Institute of Management in the Philippines. I was there last month. Same problem.
I think at the same time,
I want to take this discussion to more deeper level. You talked about issues in selection process in university. Today, it is all marks. Obviously, you're saying it has to be something more. If so, what do you think it should be? And they needn't be just for students, but also about faculty. That is one point. Second point is, theoretically, they know something, technically they know something. When it comes to hands-on, getting your fingers dirty, clearly there is a problem. How to address that? Longer internships, more closely ongoing interactions with the corporate? What do you say as a solution?
In fact, I'm just coming to that, if somebody stepped in. Thank you very much for this. I like to take just the entire thing in 3-4 dimensions. The first one, as my old friends are saying, now I, as a student, approaching you for admission. Now, I like to get admitted, preferably at a good institute. If not, if not A, then B and C, as the case may be. And I take up the curriculum and course. Now, from the academic institution's point of view, see the syllabus, see the curriculum, that whether it is the south, west, east, north, almost the same. But because they are picked up like that. Third, the delivery part, the people who are going to deliver. I just give an example, please don't quote this name. I'm not undermining anybody's, any institute's capability or stature. On 26th January that particular year, I think 06 or 07, we had the massive earthquake had. It happened 26th January.
26th
Yes.
December.
Yes.
January. January.
Oh, Gujarat. Okay.
Gujarat. Because I have not forgotten. On 20th, with a program, disaster management. Disaster management, you have any people to teach all these things? You have any program? Just because something happened and you're creating. Now, you have created a program, created a course, created a curriculum, you don't have the problem with the faculty to deliver. And even there is a faculty, who's going to take you? Another aspect from the student's point of view, the parents mortgage their land, their ornaments, they do everything, because I was on the other side of it for 1.5 years, 2 years. They do everything. And we, those who are at that time part of academic system, for as I said, my intention was to have so many seats and get them. So one side we have mushroom growth of institutes. Obviously I have also produced, innumerable number of students. And I have no place where them to be placed. Even if I place, I have nothing to give it to them because they are going to fail.
What is the solution? See,
I would like to suggest